Good morning and welcome to WGN-TV Political Report. I'm Paul Lisnick. This year has been full of grim milestones for Chicago and its surrounding suburbs. In Cook County, the most homicides in nearly 30 years. Carjackings up 50% since last year. Now the Cook County Sheriff's Office is looking to reduce that record number with the help of manufacturers. The office has recently set up a new online form that will help investigators track down stolen vehicles, and they're shifting the conversation on gun deaths by asking the legislature to help. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart joins me this morning to talk about that and much more. Mr. Sheriff, good Sunday morning to you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
So let me just start with the concept of violence, right? You oversee all of Cook County, obviously, and not just Chicago area, but violence at record levels. Reporting at the end of November showed that for the first time in over 30 years, we are over 1,000 homicides in Cook County, over 770 in Chicago alone. Numbers not seen since like 1994. Why this new surge?
You know, not that it's any solace to anyone, but this is going on all around the country. And so it's something that everybody's looking at, asking the exact same questions and coming up with very few answers, to be honest with you. People will say it's because of the influx of more guns, because more guns have been purchased than ever before. The COVID, people being locked up, not being able to have young kids go to programming, things along those lines. The pullback of police after a lot of the unrest over the years. People think that's a combination of those things, but in the end, even with nailing one of those, all three of them, we're still stuck with these horrific numbers. And so for us and other people, we're coming up with new strategies, and it is tricky because there is a difficulty in hiring police these days and all the rest of the things that are going on out there. So it is a very difficult time, but whether it's carjacking or the homicides, there are constructive plans that we have in place that we're doing.
And we're going to talk about certainly the carjacking ones. Let me hone in on this first topic just a little bit more. According to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, the vast majority of homicide victims are black at 81%, Latinos 15%. So you have 96% basically either Latino or black. If you know who's likely to be killed, do you target those areas by using that data to stop this violence in the first place?
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things we do at the jail. So when we have people come into our custody who come from any of those zip codes where the violence is out of control, we put them in unique programming that has got all these different elements to it. And then when they leave, we connect them with community resources and a partner out in the community to try to target people who are either likely to shoot or be shot. And that program's been going on for years. It's been very successful given what we've been dealing with here. In addition to that, though, we have put more police than we have ever had, into the city of Chicago. We have a full-time presence in the Austin area where we've seen actually a downturn in the shootings and the homicides. So we're coming up with new strategies to try to address the specifics in the specific areas, because to your point, you're right on target. These are specific areas. We know where they're at.
Let's talk about carjackings. To year to date, there have been over 1,970 carjacking victims in Chicago alone, 20% more than 2020, and actually more than that, 1.5 times as much as we saw there. The West Side gets hit a lot, but the city is facing it, some of the suburbs. Why, again, is that a crime that is increasing? Almost every day you hear about it.
And once again, no solace whatsoever, but everywhere in the country, same issue, same problem. I think one of the issues is because of the nature of the pandemic, everyone's wearing masks right now. You think about it, Paul. You have someone come up to you on the street, you're in your car and looking at your phone, unfortunately, probably. Someone puts a gun to you, you're already in a position where you're not, looking for what color eyes, what's the height. Now, anyone walking anywhere near your car, up to your car, has a mask on. So the point is that we're now recovering double the cars we're recovering them in half the time now that we have this task force we've put together, but we're still left with the fact the individual who was carjacked very rarely can identify him. That's why it's so important to get the manufacturers involved, because if we can narrow down that time from when the car is taken, we will know that the guy behind the wheel was the guy that did it.
Let me ask you about that. So you've written a letter to manufacturers, 11 manufacturers, in fact. You want 24-hour hotlines. Talk about what you're asking these manufacturers to do.
I'm asking them to do what everybody would expect that they're doing right now, and they're not, which is that when these events occur, which are happening all over the country again, that there's a line that we all can go to in law enforcement immediately and say, here's the car, car, here's the VIN number. We need the tracking information on it immediately, right this second, and then we'll go and we'll get the car. We'll get it right then. Right now, it's completely random. Some places only operate an 8-hour-a-day place to respond to us. Other ones, we can't get a hold of at all. And then the days and the weeks go on and the hours go on until you get the car, and then you have someone else in the car that no one can identify as the one that did this, so you're left with a charge of a misdemeanor then.
Isn't this technology, I mean, it sounds like, oh, it's new. It's not new technology. I'm remembering like OnStar, and that's been around a long time.
That's the thing that's so preposterous about this. The technology's there. We just need someone on the other end of us who will give us the data quickly. The hoops we have to jump through are incredible. And you can't have this.
You're also asking them to redesign key fobs if we don't lose them. What do you want to be done with key fobs?
The key fob is a really interesting one because the notion that these are all just young joyriders, yes, there's a proportion of those that are young kids who are joyriding. I don't know how you would say joyriding in a gun. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what they call it. The reality is there's loads of sophistication here. The amount of thefts that are going on out of car dealerships where people walked up with items that they bought online, that they have the ability to unlock all sorts of cars on that lot. It's amazing. And they also have ways to reprogram things once they get in the car. So the people that are doing this, they run the gamut from young kids to these wildly sophisticated people, and changing the fobs and the technology will keep us a step ahead of them because they've caught up to us right now.
Obviously, the problem of ghost guns, I mean, it's all we can do. You want to track the guns down, you look at serial numbers, but that's the problem with a ghost gun. They don't have serial numbers. They're homemade. Do you have a way of going after that?
Think about that for a second, Paul. In what civil society would we allow that to happen? Basically, to have a gun with no markings on it. You would only allow that if you were a criminal enterprise. We'd say, yeah, let's build guns with no markings on them. That's what criminals would do. No civil society would do that. But yet we have that. And so we've gone to Springfield, and we believe it's going to pass a bill that's going to give us a little bit more tools. But at the end of the day, are they still going to have these items out on the internet? Sure they are. And that just speaks volumes to where we're at here.
There is a major program that you're putting underway because we hear so much for people who say, you know, give money away from the cops, do something else. It's always about mental health and those kinds of folks trying to get them to the scenes. And you have a new co-responder program. Talk about that because people may not know about it. It's important.
Most law enforcement, not just us, the majority of our calls we get are for people with mental health crises. And everyone, from the police on up, know that we're not the proper people to be handling these cases. That's not what we were trained for. But yet we're the ones getting called because there's usually an act of violence of some nature involved at some point. The son struck his mom, he pushed the mom, or something like that. So police are going there. What we have done is we have it now where all of our officers have tablets when they get to a scene where it's clearly a mental health case, which is the majority of them. They now have the ability 24/7 to dial in and get a mental health professional on the other end. The tablet goes either to the parents or goes to the individual if they're not in crisis at that moment. And I've seen wild video footage from our body cameras of people who have been at a really crisis level and they've lowered it down. They put the tablet down, they walk into an ambulance, and they go get treatment. And we have them all doing it. We have now Oak Lawn and Blue Island doing it. We're going to hopefully get all the rest of the towns doing it.
And so are you tracking that data? Is that one thing we can talk about? So here's how much it's helping. Here's how we brought this tension down in a situation.
Yes, because what we've been able to do so far, we've only been doing this for about a year now. We've been able to show that these cases have now not led to arrests, and so they put them in the mental health related facility where they need to be, the hospital, the treatment, and we're not getting back. And we're also staying in contact with them. So once we have that initial contact, our mental health professional stays in contact with them days and weeks later on, and we're not getting calls back to the house. In many of these houses, we were getting calls weekly all the time. We're getting none now.
It's good to know. We want to keep up on that. Yes. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart, thanks for being with me. Wishing you a very wonderful holiday season. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate your time. Former student, remember that.
Yes, I know.
Coming up next on WGN TV Political Report, billions of dollars are headed to Illinois from the federal infrastructure bill. We're talking about the impact with U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack next. And still to come later this half hour, help for Illinois veterans, how one state lawmaker is looking to give long overdue recognition for their service. We'll be right back.